2:13 a.m., the library's security cameras recorded a student entering the basement archive. The problem was, she had disappeared 2 days earlier. The old Hawthorne College Library had one rule every student knew. Never go below sublevel 3. Not because it was restricted. Because people who stayed there after midnight started hearing pages turning, from books that no longer existed. And in 1998, one student followed the sound. They never found all of him. The rain started just before midnight. Thin at first. Then heavier. Cold drops streaking against the stained glass windows of Hawthorne College Library. The building looked older at night. Wrong somehow. The towers leaned over the campus like they were listening. Inside, the library smelled of wet paper, dust, and old wood polish. Ancient heating pipes groaned somewhere in the walls. Every sound carried too far. Most students had already left. Except for 4. Nora Whitmore sat alone at a long oak table beneath a dying lamp. Psychology major. 22. Exhausted. Her laptop glowed pale blue across her face while stacks of research books surrounded her like barricades. Across the room, Marcus Hill slept with his head on an open textbook. Rachel Dunn wandered between shelves searching for microfilm records. And Oliver Grant worked the night desk. Oliver hated closing shifts. Not because of the silence. Because of the sounds beneath it. Every night after 1 a.m., the library changed. The elevators stopped answering calls from sublevel 3. The air grew colder. And somewhere underground. Pages turned. Slowly. Like someone reading in the dark. The first time Oliver heard it, he thought another student had stayed late. Then he checked the cameras. No one was there. The sound still came every night. Page. 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 He never told anyone. People already joked about the disappearances. 3 students over 30 years. All connected to the library basement. Campus legend said the original archive below the building had partially collapsed during renovations in 1974. A librarian named Edith Vale supposedly died down there after becoming trapped for 3 days. Students claimed her body was found sitting upright at a desk. Still cataloging books. Still holding a pen. Most dismissed it as drunken folklore. But the maintenance staff refused to enter the old archive tunnels after dark. Even security guards avoided them. At 12:47 a.m., Nora rubbed her eyes and stood up. Her neck hurt. Her stomach burned from vending machine coffee. That was when she noticed the little girl. Standing near the history shelves. Perfectly still. Around 8 years old. Pale yellow raincoat. Dark wet hair hanging over her face. Nora frowned. Hey, the library's closing soon. No answer. The girl slowly looked up. Her eyes were wrong. Not white. Not black. Just, dim. Like faded photographs. Nora felt cold immediately. Are you okay? The girl raised one hand and pointed toward the back elevators. Then she whispered something. Nora barely heard it. She can't find her son. The lights flickered overhead. When Nora looked back. The girl was gone. Just gone. No footsteps. No movement. Nothing. Nora stared between the shelves. Empty. A deep metallic groan echoed from below the floorboards. Marcus suddenly jerked awake. What the hell was that? Oliver appeared from the desk, face pale. Did either of you go downstairs? No. Oliver swallowed hard. Then someone called the elevator from sublevel 4. Rachel laughed nervously. There is no sublevel 4. Oliver didn't answer. That silence lasted too long. The rain intensified outside. Thunder rolled above the stained glass. Then came the sound again. Page. 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 This time everyone heard it. Soft. Patient. Coming from below. Marcus forced a grin. Okay. Someone's messing with us. But nobody sounded convinced. Oliver walked to the security monitor behind the desk. Static flickered across several camera feeds. Then one image stabilized. Basement corridor. Long concrete hallway. Dim emergency lights. And at the far end, someone standing motionless. A woman in old librarian clothing. Head tilted unnaturally sideways. Rachel stepped closer. Oh my God. The figure suddenly moved toward the camera. Too fast. The screen burst into static. The sound of pages turning stopped instantly. Silence swallowed the library. Then the elevator dinged. All four turned slowly. The basement elevator doors stood open. No one inside. But cold air spilled out. Rotten and damp. Like flooded earth. Marcus laughed under his breath. Nope. But Nora stared at the darkness inside the elevator. There was mud on the floor. Fresh footprints leading out. Small ones. Like a child's. And beside them. Larger bare footprints. Water dripped from them slowly. Tap. 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 Leading toward the restricted archive stairwell. Oliver whispered, "We should leave." Then the fire alarm went off. All the lights died. Darkness consumed the library. Rachel screamed. The emergency lights activated seconds later, bathing everything in dim red. The alarm stopped as suddenly as it began. Now the library felt different. Smaller. The shadows between shelves seemed deeper. Breathing almost. Oliver checked his phone. No signal. Neither did anyone else. Marcus grabbed a flashlight from the desk drawer. That's it. Someone's down there. He started toward the archive stairwell. Oliver caught his arm. Don't. Marcus pulled away. What, you believe ghost stories now? Oliver looked genuinely terrified. My predecessor disappeared down there. Nobody moved. Rain hammered the windows overhead. Finally Nora spoke. We go together. The stairwell door groaned open. The smell hit them first. Mold. Wet stone. And something sweet underneath. Rotting flowers. The staircase spiraled downward far deeper than Nora expected. Concrete walls dripped with condensation. Old pipes rattled overhead. Their footsteps echoed strangely, delayed by half a second. Like something below copied them. Step. 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 Halfway down, Rachel stopped. There. Carved into the wall. Names. Hundreds of them. Students. Dates stretching back decades. Some scratched so deep blood had stained the grooves brown. Near the bottom, one fresh carving read. Nora Whitmore. Below it. She came looking. The flashlight flickered violently. Marcus cursed. Then they heard humming. Soft. A lullaby. Coming from beneath them. The staircase ended at a massive iron door slightly ajar. Beyond it stretched endless shelves disappearing into darkness. The old archive. Books covered in gray dust. Broken carts. Rusting lamps. And thousands upon thousands of catalog cards scattered across the floor like dead leaves. The humming stopped. Then came a child's voice. Mom. Rachel spun around.
Mama?
Who said that? No answer.
Mama?
But Nora noticed something disturbing. The deeper shelves looked newer. Impossible. Like parts of the archive were still being maintained. A single desk lamp glowed far away. Marcus moved toward it. Nobody stays down here. This has to connect somewhere. Oliver refused to follow farther. I'm staying by the door. Smartest decision anyone made all night. The others advanced deeper between shelves. The temperature dropped sharply. Their breath fogged. Some books appeared swollen with water damage. Others had no titles. Only names. People's names. Nora pulled one carefully from a shelf. The cover read, Rachel Dunn. Rachel stared in confusion. What the hell? Nora opened it. Inside were photographs. Rachel sleeping in her dorm. Rachel walking across campus. Rachel crying during a phone call beside her car. Private moments. Dozens of them. Every page ended with a date. Tomorrow's date appeared at the end. Blank page afterward. Rachel backed away trembling. No, no, no. Marcus grabbed another. Oliver Grant. Inside were childhood photos Oliver never showed anyone. Even pictures from inside his apartment. The final image showed Oliver standing in the library tonight. Taken from behind. Neither of them noticed the figure watching between shelves. Nora did. Tall. Thin. Gray dress. Face hidden behind hanging wet hair. The librarian. Edith Vale. Standing completely still. Nora whispered, "Don't move." Too late. The lights overhead exploded one by one. Darkness rushed toward them shelf by shelf. Pop. 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 Marcus ran. Rachel screamed after him. Then came the sound. Pages turning rapidly everywhere at once. Thousands of pages. Violent. Desperate. The shelves around them shook. Books fell hard against the floor. Something moved fast through the darkness. Not walking. Crawling. Marcus's flashlight beam caught it for half a second. A woman dragging herself across the ceiling backward. Neck twisted. Mouth hanging open impossibly wide. Marcus shouted and bolted deeper into the archive. Huge mistake. Nora heard him screaming long after he vanished. Then silence. Only pages turning again. Slowly. Patiently. Rachel sobbed uncontrollably. We need to leave right now. They turned back. The iron door was gone. Only shelves remained. Impossible endless shelves. Oliver's flashlight flickered somewhere far away. Then cut out. A choking sound echoed through the archive. Then nothing. Nora realized they were being separated intentionally. Like rats in a maze. A distant intercom crackled overhead. Static. Then a woman's voice. Quiet in the library. The voice sounded wet. Drowned. Rachel suddenly froze. Ahead stood the little girl in the yellow raincoat. Motionless again. This time her face was visible. Half decomposed. One eye milky white. She pointed toward a narrow passage between shelves. Mommy's waiting. Rachel whispered, "Who are you?" The girl answered softly. She keeps the missing ones. Then her jaw slowly unhinged too far. Skin tearing beside her mouth. Rachel screamed. The flashlight died. Complete darkness. Something cold brushed Nora's cheek. Breathing. Right beside her ear. Then a whisper. She opened the wrong book. The flashlight returned. Rachel was gone. Only her shoes remained. Still warm. Nora ran blindly through the shelves. Books crashed around her. The archive no longer made sense geometrically. Hallways bent wrong. Shelves curved inward like tunnels. Somewhere nearby, Marcus sobbed. Not screaming now. Begging. Please don't make me read it again. Nora followed the voice into a reading room. And stopped. Marcus sat at a table under a single lamp. Alive. Barely. His eyes were bleeding. Stacks of open books surrounded him. Every page filled with handwritten confessions. Murders. Suicides. Disappearances. People describing their final moments. Marcus looked up slowly. She records everyone. Behind him stood Edith Vale. Up close she looked human enough to hurt. Skin waterlogged gray. Fingertips black with ink. Her eyes entirely missing. Only dark hollow sockets leaking thick fluid. She held a library stamp in one hand. And a little boy's photograph in the other. Her son. Nora finally understood. During the 1974 collapse, Edith's son had been trapped below with her. No rescuers reached them in time. The boy died first. Edith remained alone underground beside his body for days. Reading. Cataloging. Waiting. Until her mind shattered. Now she collected stories. Collected people. Keeping them forever inside her archive. Edith tilted her head toward Nora. Then spoke for the first time. Overdue. Every light exploded. Darkness swallowed the room. Marcus began screaming. Wet tearing sounds followed. Nora ran. Blind. Panicked. Hands scraping shelves. Then suddenly. Silence. No footsteps. No pages. Nothing. She stood alone inside a tiny study room. An old rotary phone rested on the desk. It rang once. Nora answered shakily. A woman whispered through static. If she asks your name, don't answer. The line disconnected. Then came knocking beneath the desk. 3 slow knocks. Nora backed away horrified. Another knock. Then another. Something underneath was breathing. She ran again. The archive shifted around her like it was alive. Finally she saw stairs ahead. Exit. She sprinted upward. Something crawled rapidly behind her on the walls. Closer. Closer. Wet hands slapped concrete. The smell of rot filled the stairwell. Nora reached the top and slammed the door shut. The library above was silent. Empty. Morning light seeped weakly through stained glass. Police arrived 20 minutes later. They found Nora alone. Barefoot. Covered in dust and blood. No sign of Marcus. Rachel. Or Oliver. Campus officials sealed the lower archive permanently. The official report blamed a gas leak and mass hysteria. No bodies recovered. No investigation continued. Hawthorne College denied sublevel 4 ever existed. But 2 months later, a maintenance worker repairing old wiring discovered something behind a sealed basement wall. A catalog card. Freshly written. 3 new entries. Marcus Hill. Rachel Dunn. Oliver Grant. Each marked. Checked in. At the bottom was one final unfinished card. Nora Whitmore. Status. Pending return. And every night after 2 a.m. Library staff still hear pages turning underground. Slowly. Patiently. Like someone waiting for the next story. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Join our community to ensure you never miss our next immersive mystery thriller.